Welcome to a world where reality rivals imagination. Today, we're exploring animals so strange and unlikely you'd think they were mythical, yet every one of them is very real. From the depths of the ocean to remote rainforests, we'll meet nature's most eccentric creatures. Get ready for a journey through the planet's most bizarre and fascinating creatures and discover how they survive against all odds. In the misty streams of eastern Australia, a small animal paddles into view, and you might rub your eyes in disbelief. Is it a beaver? A duck? An otter? Well, it's all of them and none of them. The platypus, a genuine biological oddity. When British scientists first examined a platypus specimen in 1799, they thought it was a hoax. Someone had clearly sewn a duck's bill onto a mammal's body. But the platypus is 100% real and even more incredible up close. This egg-laying mammal has a wide, rubbery duckbill and flat tail like a beaver. It closes its eyes and ears underwater, yet hunts by seeing with electricity. Sensors in the bill detect the electric pulses of shrimp and insects hidden in muddy water. And as if that weren't wild enough, the male platypus wields a venomous spur on its hind legs, delivering a sting painful enough to incapacitate a human. This mashup of traits is so strange that the platypus has become an icon of Australia's unique wildlife. Watching one float by, you can't help but marvel at nature's creativity. A creature that looks like a joke, yet survives and thrives on its own terms. The platypus reminds us that evolution writes some truly bizarre scripts, and this soft-furred, egg-laying, beaver-tailed, duck-billed mammal is living proof that the natural world still holds surprises that defy belief. In the canals of Mexico City lurks a creature that seems plucked from a fantasy game, the axolotl, a salamander that never grows up. Axolotls have external frilly gills behind their head and retain their juvenile form for life. Imagine if a tadpole stayed a tadpole but still became an adult. That's the axolotl's trick, a condition called neoteny. With a little grin and feathery headdress of gills, this amphibian looks like a cartoon, but its abilities are the stuff of superhero lore. Axolotls can regrow lost limbs. Legs, tail, even parts of their eyes, heart, and brain can regenerate with ease. Cut off an axolotl's arm, and in a few weeks, it's as good as new. No scar in sight. This power has made them superstars in science labs, as researchers hope to learn the secrets of tissue regeneration. In the wild, axolotls are found only in the remnants of ancient lakes around Mexico City and are sadly critically endangered now. But in captivity, they're thriving. You may have seen their pink or golden forms in aquariums. The axolotl's permanent youthfulness, living out its entire life as a water baby salamander, makes it seem like a magical creature. In the Aztec language, axolotl roughly translates to water sprite, befitting a creature that blurs the line between reality and myth. Cute, mysterious, and incredibly tough in its own watery way, the axolotl is a reminder that sometimes staying young at heart, or in form, is the key to survival. Deep in the jungles of Madagascar, a strange figure haunts the night. With wild fuzzy hair, giant eyes, and an extraordinary long bony finger, the eye might just be the strangest primate on Earth. In fact, when locals first saw this lemur, they thought it was a demon. Legend says, if an eye points that skinny middle finger at you, you're marked for death. It's easy to see how such superstitions arose. The eye's appearance is truly otherworldly. By day, it curls up in its full leaf nest, but after dusk, it prowls the canopy. It uses those bat-like ears and drumming fingers to hunt in a way no other primate does, tapping along tree bark like a woodpecker and listening for hollow chambers where grubs hide. Once it hears a grub tunneling inside the wood, the eye gnaws a hole with ever-growing rodent-like teeth and fishes the insect out with that narrow finger. The finger, skeletal and flexible with a ball and socket joint, can reach into crevices to hook juicy larvae, a midnight snack won by eerie skills. With its mix of features, rodent teeth, bat ears, and a witch's finger, the eye is a patchwork of oddities. It was once hunted as a harbinger of evil, but today we understand it's a unique and endangered creature that needs protection. Far from an evil omen, the eye is a clever insect hunter, an ecological equivalent of a woodpecker, and one of Madagascar's most astonishing residents. Sometimes, the strangest looking animals have the most fascinating stories hidden in those features. If you ever stumble upon a star-nosed mole, your first question might be, what is that thing on its face? This mole's nose looks like a tiny alien starfish attached to a furry little mammal. 22 flashy tentacles form a star shape, each loaded with thousands of sensory receptors called Eimer's organs. In fact, the star-nosed mole's nasal star has over 25,000 touch receptors, making it the most touch-sensitive organ of any mammal. Why such an outrageous nose? Because this mole lives in darkness, underground, and in swampy soil, and it sees the world through touch. Those tentacles press into the mud at lightning speed, probing for worms and insects. How fast, you ask? This mole holds the record for fastest eater in the animal kingdom. It can identify and devour a piece of food in as little as 120 milliseconds, literally faster than the blink of an eye. Its brain can decode in 8 milliseconds if something is edible. By the time you realize the mole is sniffing a worm, it's already caught and eaten it. The star-nosed mole turns what might seem like a disadvantage, poor vision and an absurd nose, into a superpower. It even swims and can smell underwater by blowing bubbles and re-inhaling them to trap scents. With its uncanny star sniffer, this little mole lives in fast forward, gobbling prey in the blink of an eye and reminding us that weird adaptations can be incredibly effective. It may look like a tiny monster, but for the star-nosed mole, that tentacled nose is the key to an amazingly speedy life. Imagine an antelope designed by Dr. Seuss, and you get the saiga. These deer-like creatures once roamed vast swaths of Central Asia in herds thousands strong. What instantly grabs your attention, though, is that oversized, drooping nose, like someone stuck an elephant's mini trunk onto an antelope's face. It looks comical, but there is a purpose to the proboscis. The saiga lives in a land of extremes, scorching, dusty summers and frigid winters, and its schnoz is a masterpiece of adaptation. In summer, the huge, flexible nose filters out dust and cools the air the saiga breathes. In winter, it does the opposite, warming the icy air before it hits the lungs. This built-in air conditioning system is vital when migrating across Central Asia's dry plains, kicking up dust storms, or facing sub-zero winds. The saiga's bizarre look has earned it comparisons to Star Wars creatures. Some say it resembles the alien elf with that big nose. This species is actually an Ice Age survivor. Saigas roamed alongside woolly mammoths and saber-toothed cats. Today, they're critically endangered after mass die-offs and poaching, but conservation efforts are underway to protect them. Seeing a saiga in the wild is like glimpsing a prehistoric scene with a cartoon twist. It's a testament to how evolution shapes life to cope with extreme environments, sometimes with wonderfully weird results. One look at that wobbly, oversized nose and you'll agree. The saiga antelope is almost too strange to be real, and yet it's an irreplaceable thread in our planet's rich tapestry of life. Standing 5 feet tall and often utterly still, the shoebill stork could be mistaken for a statue, until it turns its head and fixes you with a primeval stare. This bird looks like a relic of the dinosaur age, and indeed, birds are living dinosaurs. Its hallmark is a huge bill shaped like a shoe or a spoon, about the size of a lunchbox, complete with sharp edges and a hooked tip. The shoebill strategy is patience. It will stand like a statue for hours, waiting in silence for an unlucky fish or frog or even baby crocodile to wander within reach. When it strikes, it's explosive. The shoebill lunges and gulps down everything in one big chomp. Fish, water, weeds, whatever is in its maw. Then, in a gruesomely efficient move, it uses that powerful bill to decapitate larger prey, like lungfish or small crocs, throwing back its head to slice and shake out the excess mud and water. The sight of a shoebill swallowing a whole wriggling creature in one go is astonishing and a bit terrifying. Despite its fearsome hunting, shoebills are generally silent, but during breeding or greeting, they unleash a sound like a jungle machine gun, rapid bill clattering that echoes across the swamp. It's a startling, hollow clatter 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 that has earned them a legendary aura. Ancient Egyptians depicted shoebills in art, and people have given them nicknames like Monster Face or Death Pelican for their looks. Yet, those who have worked with shoebills say they can be surprisingly gentle with human keepers, bowing and clattering in a kind of greeting ritual. Watching a shoebill, you feel transported to the late Jurassic. It's hard to believe such a creature lives on Earth today. This towering bird with a sleepy gaze and lightning strike reminds us that some prehistoric magic still persists in remote wetlands of Africa. If you crossed a pine cone with a small anteater, you'd get something like a pangolin. These shy, nocturnal mammals are completely covered in keratin scales, the same material as our fingernails, making pangolins the only mammals with true scales. It's like they wear a coat of medieval armor. When threatened, a pangolin doesn't fight or flee. It simply curls into an impenetrable ball, tucking its vulnerable belly away and presenting nothing but tough scales to a predator. Those scales are razor sharp too, and pangolins can slash with their tail if necessary. On the flip side, pangolins are harmless to just about everything else. Their diet is mainly ants and termites, which they lap up with an absurdly long, sticky tongue that can be longer than their own body. Picture a 2-foot-long spaghetti noodle of a tongue slurping into insect nests. Since pangolins have no teeth, that's how they get their fill. Each night, a pangolin can devour tens of thousands of insects, providing a valuable pest control service in their ecosystem. Pangolins are like armored fairy tale creatures, so strange-looking that many people don't know they exist. Sadly, this has been to their detriment. Pangolins are heavily poached and are now the world's most trafficked mammals, prized for their scales and meat. All 8 species are at risk. It's heartbreaking that one of Earth's most extraordinary animals is in such trouble because of human superstition and greed. The pangolin's best defense, curling up, doesn't work against us. But through growing awareness and legal protection, there is hope. Seeing a pangolin in the wild is like finding a real-life dragon's baby, covered in scales and full of wonder. We owe it to these gentle, strange beings to ensure they survive and continue to enchant future generations with their utterly unique presence. Don't be fooled by the mantis shrimp's small size, just a few inches or dazzling colors. This little crustacean is one of the most formidable predators in the ocean. In fact, it has punching arms so powerful, they can shatter glass. Mantis shrimps come in 2 main types: spearers with spiny barbed claws and smashers with club-like fists. The peacock mantis shrimp is a smasher, and it can throw a punch at speeds of 50 miles per hour, accelerating faster than a .22 caliber bullet. When it hits its prey, say a crab or snail, the impact is so intense it not only crushes the shell, it momentarily boils the water around it, creating a tiny flash of light and a shockwave, a process known as cavitation. That's right, this shrimp punches so fast it makes water explode into vapor and light from sheer force. It's the ultimate one-punch knockout artist of the animal kingdom. As if that weren't enough, mantis shrimps also have the most elaborate eyesight known to science. Where we humans have 3 types of color receptors, red, green, blue, in our eyes, mantis shrimps have 12 to 16 different color receptors. Some can see ultraviolet and polarized light that we can't even comprehend. They perceive a rainbow of colors invisible to us, and their compound eyes can move independently, giving them a nearly 360-degree view. It's like they have built-in spectrometers and periscopes. These advanced eyes help them communicate with each other through secret ultraviolet patterns and to accurately judge distance when they unleash those lethal punches. The mantis shrimp is a kaleidoscope killer, as beautiful as it is brutal. One moment it's waving gentle feathery limbs to aerate its burrow, the next is cracking open a clam like a heavyweight boxer. Its existence almost sounds fictional. A shrimp that sees a world of colors we can't imagine and hits with the force of a bullet? But it's very real, prowling tropical reefs and reminding us that sometimes the deadliest packages come in the flashiest wrapping. If ever there was an animal that looked straight out of a nightmare, the deep-sea anglerfish would be it. Picture a bloated, spiny, big-headed fish with a gigantic mouth full of needle teeth roaming the lightless depths. Now add a fishing rod protruding from its forehead, tipped with a glowing blob of bacteria that acts as a lantern lure. This female anglerfish lurks in the perpetual night, around 1,000 meters down, waving her bioluminescent lure to attract curious prey. And when something comes close, snap! Her monstrous jaws strike, and the prey has no chance. But the anglerfish's story gets even stranger when you consider how they mate. In that abyss, finding a partner is like finding a needle in a haystack. The solution? Fusion. A tiny male anglerfish, 1/10 the female size or smaller, will sniff at a female and bite onto her belly. He then literally fuses with her body, merging bloodstreams and becoming a permanent attachment. Essentially nothing more than a pair of testes that she carries around. The male's eyes and fins atrophy, and he lives the rest of his life as a dependent extension of the female, providing sperm on demand whenever she's ready to lay eggs. In some anglerfish species, a female might carry multiple tiny male parasites on her body. It's grotesque, it's bizarre, and it's real. The anglerfish's mating is so extreme that scientists had to unravel how the female's immune system doesn't reject the male. It turns out, these fish evolved to lose key immune genetics to allow this union. Floating in the deep dark ocean, a female anglerfish carrying her tiny male mates and dangling her eerie light, one might think of legendary creatures like mermaids or sea devils. And indeed, early accounts of anglerfish likely inspired sea monster tales. But the reality is even more fascinating. A fish that wields a natural flashlight and practices a form of sexual symbiosis that's unmatched in the animal world. So the next time you see a Halloween anglerfish decoration or recall the one in Finding Nemo, remember, the truth of the anglerfish is stranger than fiction. Meet the blobfish, poster child of so ugly it's cute, and voted the world's ugliest animal in an informal 2013 poll. Blobfish are famous, or infamous, for photographs showing a pale pink, gelatinous face with a big frown and droopy nose. That image rocketed around the internet, earning the blobfish memes and mockery. But here's the twist. That blobby face is not what a blobfish looks like in life. Those photos are of a blobfish pulled out of its deep-sea home, suffering catastrophic decompression. In the crushing pressure of its natural habitat, hundreds of times the pressure at sea level, the blobfish is actually a normal-looking fish. It doesn't have a swim bladder like typical fish, as gas bladders would collapse under the high pressure. Instead, it's a gelatinous mass with flesh slightly less dense than water, which allows it to float effortlessly above the ocean floor. Its muscles are flabby and its bones are soft, and any creature would look blobby if designed to withstand extreme pressure without firm structure. So when a blobfish is hauled to the surface by a deep-sea trawl net, the drastic change in pressure makes it collapse into a jiggly puddle. The sad, grumpy old man face is essentially a specimen that's been turned inside out by decompression. In truth, a living blobfish is not particularly ugly, just ordinary and maybe a bit ghostly. It drifts a few inches above the bottom, gobbling snails and worms that float by, expending minimal energy in a cold, dark world. Perfectly adapted to the deep sea. The ugliest animal label is, as one researcher said, like a bullying campaign against an animal dragged out of context. If anything, we should pity the blobfish. It never wanted the spotlight. It has no idea we're laughing at its mishap. In its realm, looking like Jell-O makes perfect sense. The blobfish teaches us a beautiful lesson. Beauty, or ugliness, is all about context. In the high-pressure depths, the blobfish is right at home. So perhaps we should retire the jokes and give this jiggly deep-sea survivor the respect it deserves for making a living in one of the harshest environments on the planet. If a creature could be at home in both a fairy tale and a sci-fi saga, the blue dragon, Glaucus atlanticus, would qualify. This miniature sea slug, only about an inch long, is dazzlingly beautiful, with shades of electric blue, silver, and white. Its body has wing-like appendages that splay out like the wings of a tiny dragon or a stylized angel. Floating on its back at the ocean's surface, the blue dragon's blue side faces upward, blending with the water's hue, while its silvery belly faces downward, camouflaging against the bright sky. But don't let its beauty fool you. This little drifter is packing some serious heat. The blue dragon feeds on venomous siphonophores, including the infamous Portuguese man-o'-war jellyfish, whose sting is excruciating to humans. Not only is the blue dragon immune to the man-o'-war's venom, it actually goes a step forward by stealing it. The slug munches the jelly's tentacles and stores the stinging cells, nematocysts, in its own body. Then, the next time a hungry fish tries to eat the blue dragon, wham! It gets a big old dose of man-o'-war venom from those appropriated stingers. In fact, the blue dragon can deliver a sting more potent than the original jellyfish because it concentrates the venom. Talk about turning your enemy's weapons against them! These little ocean sprites often float in groups and sometimes wash ashore, causing beachgoers to gasp at their sapphire beauty, a beauty that literally bites. Picking one up can result in a painful welt or worse, so admire with eyes, not hands. The blue dragon is a delightful contradiction, small but mighty, gorgeous but dangerous. Its existence sounds almost too whimsical. A slug that masquerades as a dragon, wields stolen venom, and sails the open sea upside down. But it is very real, gracing the oceans from the Atlantic to the Pacific. In the grand carnival of strange animals, the blue dragon might be the tiny showstopper that leaves you wondering what other marvels float just beneath the waves. Our journey through these unbelievable creatures reveals one common truth. Nature's imagination far surpasses our own. Each of these animals, as strange as they appear, are perfectly adapted to their niche. In the tapestry of life, the weird threads are often the most intriguing, weaving stories of resilience, specialization, and wonder. These animals challenge our understanding of what life can be. Whether it's a mammal that lays eggs, a fish with a built-in light, or a snail-sized dragon stealing venom, by appreciating them, we celebrate the diversity and creativity of evolution. So the next time you hear of a bizarre creature, remember that behind every fantastical feature lies a survival strategy honed over millennia. Truth really is stranger than fiction in the animal kingdom. If you enjoyed meeting these extraordinary beings, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more journeys into the wild and wonderful corners of the world. Which of these strange animals amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments, cause we'd love to hear. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.